Hey guys, and welcome to the Truth Factor, where we do headlines with an attitude. And we have quite a few things developing, things going. Just it sounds like crazy day. It's going to be a busy day. So we started at 4 o'clock, and we'll see how quickly we get through this today, guys. Um, anyway, let's get right into these headlines. I hope everyone is having a wonderful afternoon. It's so cold here. I'm thinking about putting on my little hoodie jacket thingy that I wear over this, and I'm wearing short sleeves, but I normally have a hoodie. Hey there, Daryl. How are you, brother? It's cold. I'm in a house with the heater on, and it's cold. It says the temps to jump, but guys, it is cold here right now. It's 15 degrees. The temps are going to jump up tomorrow, though, it says. So we'll hopefully have a good, I don't know what the heck happened there. But anyway, hi, Dr. Joey. You got a notification. Praise God. Hallelujah. You're at 18 degrees. We're at 15, brother. At 15. Goodness sakes. Oh, mercy. It's cold everywhere, isn't it, Dr. Joey? Mercy. All right, guys, we have quite a few things to cover, so I'm going to get into it. Welcome, everybody. All of these articles are in the Wixit in the description box below. Anyway, we've got lots happening, some updates on a few things, and so let's get right into it. We have Hal Turner. Iran fires a ballistic missile, this time at sites inside Pakistan. The government of Iran has fired ballistic missiles into neighboring Pakistan, allegedly targeting the headquarters of Jaish al-Adal terrorist group in the Balochistan, the southwestern province of Pakistan. Pakistan is a nuclear-armed country. For Iran to have hit the territory of a nuclear-armed country would seem to indicate, in a not-so-subtle way, that Iran has no reason to fear Pakistan nukes, likely because Iran has their own. Just speculation at this point, of course. Pakistan being silent could mean there was an agreement between Iran and Pakistan for this strike. Pakistan and Iran have maintained good relations for years. More coming, developing. At 1:42, no comment so far from Pakistan. Strange or ominous, not a word from them. After all they knew of this site, it is their country. Update 201. Aha, about this terrorist group, Jaish al-Adal, is a Sunni Salafi separatist militant group organization that operates mainly in southwestern Iran, where there is substantial concentration of the Sunni Balochs and porous border with Pakistan. The group has claimed responsibility for several attacks against military personnel in Iran. The group has asserted that it is a separatist group fighting for independence of Sistan and Balochistan province and the greater rights for Baloch people. The group also maintained ties with Ansar al-Furqan, which is another Iranian Baloch Sunni armed group operating in Iran. Sahaddin Farouk is the current head of Jaish al-Adal. His brother Amir Nari was killed by a Taliban in Afghanistan. The group was founded in 2012 by members of Jadallah and Sunni militant group that have been weakened following Iran's capture and execution of its leader Abul Rigi in 2010. Its first major attack occurred in October of 2013. Jaish al-Adal is a designated terrorist organization by Iran, Japan, New Zealand, and the United States. Jaish al-Adal has cooperated with the Kurdish separatist group in Iran and also strongly denounced Iranian intervention in the Syrian civil war. Iranian state media has alleged that Saudi Arabia and the United States are key backers of the group. That's kind of ironic when they supposedly have designated them terrorist group, right? Here's his lovely remark. Iranian missile strike last night in Erbil, Iraq, took out Israeli spy center, which was allegedly coordinating strikes against Iranian targets throughout the Middle East. That attack last night also hit elements of ISIS inside Syria, whose notorious reputation for barbarism is well known worldwide. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited known ISIS terrorists who had been flown into Israel hospitals after being wounded. Why would the Israeli Prime Minister do that unless ISIS was created of Israel and collective West? So blatant was Israelis' help to ISIS that instead of people calling it Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, they began calling it Israeli Secret Service Intelligence Service. Today, Iran has now hit the clearly anti-Iranian group inside Pakistan, which they say is backed by Saudi Arabia and the U.S. It is now clear Iran is slaughtering Israeli and U.S. terrorist proxies. Yes, proxies. It looks to me as though the gloves are coming off. Now, again, this is Hal's remarks, his remarks, not our remarks, but his remarks. We want to make sure that that is emphasized there. We also have another ship hit by missile in the Red Sea as the Yemen Houthis announcing hunting for all the U.S. and UK vessels. Houthis in Yemen announced today they will attack all American and British vessels in the Red Sea, both military and civilian. After the U.S. and UK attacked Yemen this morning, another cargo ship has been hit by the missile off the coast of Yemen. The Greek-owned dry bulk vessel Zagrafi was hit by a missile and sustained damage described as a minor. That ship sent a distress call this morning. Received a distress format, all ships, distress, self-ID, distress, ACK, undesignated radio telephone. According to the coordinates it sent, the ship was located within the red circle on the map below. The ship is reported to be underway using its engine at this time. A Yemen official has warned that American and British forces can no longer pass through the strategic Bab el-Mandab Strait as tensions grow in the region following the illegal U.S.-led military strikes on the Arab country. Mohammed al-Bukhari, a member of the political bureau of Ansarullah, resistant movement, issued the warning on Monday after the United States and its allies bombed Yemen and amid the frustration with anti-Israel naval operations in the Red Sea. He said that the Yemen armed forces are developing their missile capabilities to bring new surprises soon. The U.S. and UK forces can no longer pass through there at the Bab al-Mandab Strait, a sea route choke point connecting the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and by extension the Indian Ocean, he added. The axis of resistance has regained control over the region. The Americans will regret their acts of aggression against Yemen and they will be a loser. The U.S. and Britain, backed by Bahrain, Canada, Australia, Netherlands, struck more than 60 targets in 30 locations in Yemen on Friday, killing 5 people and injuring 6 others. On Saturday, U.S. Central Command CENTCOM said the follow-on action was conducted against a Yemeni radar facility by the Navy destroyer U.S. Carney using a Tomahawk land attack missile. The Bukhari said that the Yemen forces are capable of confronting the Americans and that they will block the passage of the U.S. and Israeli ships through the Red Sea. Earlier on Monday, the Yemen forces hit a U.S.-owned container ship with ballistic missiles off the coast of Yemen in the Gulf of Aden. Okay, and then we have ABC reporting 2 missing Navy SEALs on a mission that seized Iranian missile parts headed for the Houthis, U.S. It says they were meant to resupply Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, the U.S. said. The 2 U.S. Navy SEALs missing in the Gulf of Aden off Somalia were on a mission to board a dhow that led to the seizure of Iranian-made ballistic and cruise missile components headed to Houthi militias in Yemen, according to U.S. Central Command. The risky nighttime mission last Thursday to board the dhow in rough waters continued even after one of the SEALs fell into the water, and the second SEAL, following protocol, jumped into the water to rescue his teammate. The search and rescue operations for the 2 missing SEALs are continuing in the Gulf of Aden, with U.S. Navy aircraft and ships participating in the search. For years, the U.S. Navy has intercepted dhows the name for the small fishing or cargo vessels used in the region, believing to be carrying Iranian-made weapons to the Houthis. During this mission, boarding teams typically pull aside the D-House to undertake a flag verification mission of the D-House is unflagged or has replaced its flag to mask their smuggling mission. The latest seizure was the first since the Houthis began to carry out more than 30 drone and missile attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea, most of which have been repelled by U.S., French, and British warships. On Thursday, January 11th, Navy forces conducted a nighttime seizure of Dhow, conducting illegal transports of advanced lethal aid from Iran to resupply the Houthi forces in Yemen as part of the Houthis' ongoing campaign of attacks against international merchant shipping, said CENTCOM's statement. The SEALs were operating from Expeditionary Sea Base, the USS Lewis B. Puller, a converted freighter topped with landing decks for helicopters incapable of releasing small watercraft used by SEALs when they approached the Dhow. With helicopters and drones flying overhead, they executed a complex porting of the Dhow near the coast of Somalia in international waters of the Arabian Sea, seizing Iranian-made ballistic missiles and cruise missile components. They included components for propulsion, guidance, and warheads for Houthi medium-range ballistic missiles and anti-ship cruise missiles, as well as air defense associated components. Initial analysis indicate that these same weapons, have been employed by the Houthis to threaten and attack innocent mariners and international merchant ships transitioning into the Red Sea, said CENTCOM. The seizure marked the first time since November 2019 that the U.S. Navy has seized Iranian-made ballistic missiles and cruise missile components headed for the Houthis. Nighttime shipboardings by boat carried out in the pitch black are some of the most difficult missions that a SEAL can undertake and require constant training, according to a retired SEAL commander. You have the risk of your boat capsizing and in close proximity to large vessels. You have to establish a solid ladder point. You have to climb a ladder at night over the open ocean between two ships. They're smashing into each other and then get on board, said Eric Olerich on ABC News contributor. And then your problem starts with what's going to do it with the whomever is on the board, the boat added aboard that boat, he added. Wow. Ulrich said the SEALs undertaking their missions in the Gulf of Aden, the Somali Basin, increases during this time of year when ocean waves are especially high. In the wintertime, the sea state is typically 8 to 12 feet, said Ulrich. The horizon is flat, so 8 to 12 feet is 8 feet above the flatter horizon, and then 8 feet is like a 16-foot wave. The 14 mariners aboard the Dhow were taken off the vessel and are in U.S. custody, though their future status remains to be determined. After they were taken off the Dhow, the vessel was deemed unsafe and sunk by U.S. naval forces. It is clear that the Iranian continues shipment of advanced lethal aid to the Houthis. This is yet another example of how Iran actively sows instability throughout the region in direct violation of UN Security Resolution 2216 and international law, said CENTCOM Commander General Michael Eric Kurilla. We will continue to work with regional and international partners to expose and interdissect these efforts and ultimately to reestablish freedom of navigation, he added. Oh, goodness. We will be praying that they find these two Navy SEALs and that they are alive. That is very dangerous and it doesn't sound promising, but we will stay in prayer for them. Okay. So then we also have this here is updated from yesterday. We're going to go down to the updated part because we did cover this yesterday, the denial and all that. But here is the update at 11:09. I can now confirm attacks near the U.S. consulate in Erbil. It says near, so it wasn't, I guess, the consulate. Erbil, Iraq was carried out with 6 Fahad 110 tactical short-range ballistic missiles launched by the IRGC. The Fatah 110, also known as the NP-110, is an Iranian solid-fueled surface-to-surface ballistic missile produced by Iran's Aerospace Industries Organization since 2002. It is a single-stage road-mobile missile and can carry a high explosive warhead of up to 500 kilograms. Accuracy is 100 meters. Diameter is 6.0 0.60 m engine, single stage solid rocket fuel guidance system, and inertial and electro-optical terminal, according to the Iranian state. The GNSS, according to Western Analysis and Services 2002 present, launch platform, mobile launcher, and mass 35 kilograms. Iranian's Revolutionary Guard Corps also says it's fired ballistic missiles at Aleppo, Syria. The IRGC missiles were launched from southwest of Iran to attack the positions of northwest Syria at a distance of approximately 1,200 kilometers. Iranian state media is reporting that the missile attack tonight by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps on ISIS facilitates near the city of Aleppo in northwestern Syria was the longest range missile attack in Iranian history, with missiles flying over 1,200 kilometers or 760 miles. So there was the latest update on what we read here yesterday. Anyway, then we also have this from End Time Headlines: the Iran massive ballistic missile attack in Syria and Iraq. Mossad headquarters were destroyed. U.S. and Israeli targets hit. Tensions are soaring in the Middle East as Iran launched a massive ballistic missile attack hitting targets in Syria and Iraq. Iran hit these targets at a distance of 1,200 kilometers. This is one of the longest range strikes in its history. Targets in Iraq included Mossad headquarters in Erbil, the U.S. military base at Erbil Airport, the U.S. consulate in Iraqi Kurdistan located in Erbil, the local headquarters of the Kurdish Security Services, the private residence of local Mossad-connected businessmen. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said today that the ballistic missile attack on the northern Iraqi city of Erbil resulted in the destruction of Mossad headquarters used by anti-Iranian groups. Iranian sources said the attack near the U.S. consulate in the northern Iraq city of Erbil was carried out by 6 Fatah. We already went through that, so we won't cover that again. According to Iranian sources, the ballistic missiles that target the city of Erbil in northern Iraq and the city of Aleppo in northern Syria were fired from the missile base near the city of Ahavaz in southwestern Iran. The missile strike on Israel's espionage headquarters in northern Iraq near the city of Erbil, but against the ISIS targets in Syria, is a response to the recent atrocities in the Zionist regime that caused the killing of commanders of the guards and the axis of resistance. As they report, one of the main espionage headquarters of the Mossad in the Kurdistan regions of Iraq was destroyed by ballistic missiles, while at the same time declaring the aggressive actions will continue until they take revenge for the last drop of blood of the martyrs. Here is sorry. Go, George. Huh. Anyway, the video from Erbil U.S. consulate sirens can be heard in the background alongside heavy gunshots, possible attempts to strike down a drone. Just curious if they knew this was happening, or if there was already something that happened anyway. Additional footage claimed to show the impact of at least 4 ballistic missiles launched by the Iranian-backed group towards the U.S. consulate and international airport within the city of Erbil in northern Iraq. Footage showing several impacts by the ballistic missiles near the U.S. consulate. going to watch anymore, guys. The elite body of Iranian army announced in the early hours of the morning of 1601, the January 1st, 16th, that it has launched a barrage of ballistic missiles against terrorist facilities in northern Iraq and Syria. In Syria, target headquarters, training centers of ISIS and the TIP organizations were hit in Aleppo and Idlib. There is talk of at least 8 ballistic missiles. They officially claimed responsibility of the strike, saying the ballistic missiles were aimed at U.S. and Mossad bases in Iraq. No casualties were confirmed by the U.S. military, although the Iraqi press claimed several ambulances were spotted heading to the U.S. consulate and military base. The facilities were heavily damaged. Via its news website, Sefa News, the Revolutionary Guard also reported that they had identified gathering places of commanders and key elements linked to recent terrorist acts, particularly of the Islamic State, and they had the destroyed them by firing ballistic missiles. They added that the strikes were carried out in retribution of the recent crimes of terrorist acts after the death of around 100 people in Kerman and Ras. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard fired ballistic missiles at civilian areas in Arbil, killing 4 civilians and injuring 6 others, in Kurdistan Security Council. For its part, the U.S. diplomacy strongly condemned the attack launched by Iran in Iraq, Kurdistan, stressing a press release it opposes this irresponsible missile strike it carried out as they undermine the stability of Iraq. Yeah. Okay. So there we've got a pretty good update on what has taken place up to now, right? There's a little bit more in there. You can definitely check it out if you would like. Excuse me, guys. We also have from X or Twitter, the Israel Defense Forces carried out an intense strike in the Khan Yunis area in southern Gaza. And then we also have from Zero Hedge, over 100 ships transit Red Sea route despite calls to stay away. The number of commercial vessels that have transited to the Red Sea Suez Canal route has more than halved over the past month in rising tensions of Yemen. But more than 100 ships, including oil tankers, have crossed the water lane since the U.S. and UK navies advised operators on Friday to steer clear of the route. Amid the escalating tensions in the Middle East and the U.S., the strikes of the Houthi targets in Yemen on Thursday night last week, the largest shipping and tanker industry groups advised on Friday members to stay away from the Bab al-Mandab Strait, where shippers were diverting transit away from the Red Sea en masses again. In an advisory to its members, the International Association of Independent Tanker Owners, representing nearly 70% of international oil, chemical, and gas tankers, said that tankers should stay well away from Bab al-Mandab and pause north of Yemen when traveling south through the Suez Canal route. Many have heeded the advice, but some have not. A total of 114 commercial vessels, including oil tankers, bulk carriers, and container ships, have continued their routes and transited into the out of the Red Sea through Bab al-Mandab Strait, according to the vessel tracking data monitored by Bloomberg. Anyway, so we can see that over 100 ships still going wherever they, I guess, want to go. They're not taking heed to their thing. And then we have some war, more war rhetoric, I guess you'd say. Let's take a look, though, before we continue, because we have still quite a bit to cover. Every now and then we got to take a break, right, from looking at all that mess. Missiles, absolutely. So let's see what's up, guys. I'll try and get all the way back up here to the start. Try to, anyway. Okay. Hi there, Mike. How are you, brother? Hey, Philip. How are you? Yes, it's pretty bad. In Tennessee, 7 inches in Dixon, guys. 7 inches in Dixon, and that's quite a bit. Let's see, Philip says. I hear you, Philip. How are you, brother? How are you, Rip Curl? It does indeed, and that's what I've heard. I absolutely have heard that. It's absolutely insane. Hi there, Miss Joni and Walk in Truth. How are you guys? So good to see you. AMG, brother, how are you? Haven't seen you in a good minute, it seems like. I know you pop in here and there. Um, Hi, Heidi. How are you? Um, Hi, Ryan. Okay, so today is his birthday. He's officially 50, guys. Let's sing happy birthday to Ryan. All right. All right, everybody sing happy birthday. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to you. All right. Yay. Blow out the candles, he says. To work.
What time is it?
4:00. 4:30. It's 4:30. Anyway. Absolutely. All right. Hello, Scan. How are you, sister? Okay. Oh, man. Oh, mercy. I hope your mom's okay. We'll say a quick prayer for her, guys. Dear Heavenly Father, we just lift up Scan's mom and we pray that she be well and that she heal quickly and everything checks out. In Jesus' name, amen. I'm sorry to hear that. I hear you, sister. All right, guys. Hello, Miss Carol. How are you? All righty. Anyway, so let's carry on, guys. Carry on, right? We got us a good little break. She had dizziness, speech not right. Oh, man. I hope she didn't have a stroke. That's not good, Scan. Not good. We will continue to pray for her tonight, sister. I'm going to put her on my little list. Hey, can I get a pen, guys? I think there's a pen right there. Let me put Scan's mom on our list for prayer tonight. Okay, so Kim Jong-un has decided to go to war with North Korea, watchers warn. Kind of crazy. This is from Newsweek, guys. North Korea is girding itself of war for continuing with the current policy of strategic deterrence will put the U.S. and its allies on a collision course with isolated regime in the coming years, experts warn in a new report. Well, we already know. I'm not going to read this, guys. We already know that he has made several warnings himself. I hate it's like he's just a distraction, to be in all seriousness. I just don't think anything, not saying he couldn't, and maybe, all these missiles, that's what everybody wants that's what they want you to think, all these missiles that keep going and they're not nothing, it's just to keep you on edge. Maybe there will be something, I don't know, but I just feel like he's just one of those big bully kids, that just wants to be a bully, but he's a bully with his mouth more so than anything. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We'll keep our eyes and ears on it, though, right? But here, Putin ally issues an ominous red button threat over NATO war report, which, again, this is going to be another one of those articles we're probably not going to read all of, because we have covered the War News guys article that basically said, from that paper bill that the leak that we read yesterday. Do you remember the articles that we read? We covered this yesterday. And Putin says, if you do this, that's the red line he's not going to cross. Now, is it a nuclear threat? I don't know, but we'll read some of this. We just probably won't read all of it. A politician and Russian allied with Putin has issued a nuclear threat to the West if it takes hostile actions against the Kaliningrad enclave bordering NATO. Sergei Menrov, leader of the Party A, Just Russia, which is a part of the systemic opposition sympathetic to the Kremlin foreign policy, responded to a report in the German paper The Bild that Germany's armed forces, Bundeswehr, were planning for a scenario in which Russia would attack the alliance. Citing a classified document, the paper said Germany was preparing for an attack by Moscow on the alliance's eastern flank. It outlined a path to conflict between Russia and NATO in claims that have not been independently verified but have been denied by Moscow, and about which Newsweek has contacted the German Foreign Ministry and NATO. Bild predicted that the tensions starting in February would escalate to border conflicts by December in the Suwalki corridor between Belarus and Kaliningrad along the Polish-Lithuanian border. But Minrov said in an emailed statement to Newsweek that motives for the report were to sow panic and anti-Russian hysteria in Europe and express a desire among some in Germany to see the return of East Prussia, referring to the Kaliningrad pre-Russian status. But these dreams are not destined to come true. Any attempt to block or even attack the Kaliningrad region will inevitably lead to a military clash with Russia, he said. Formerly known as Königsberg, Kaliningrad was part of German Empire and joined the Soviet Union under the Potsdam Agreement on August 1st, 1945, and its most westerly outpost and bordered on three sides by NATO member states. Kaliningrad is one of the Russians' most strategically sensitive regions and is the base of ballistic sea fleet between Poland and Lithuania on NATO's eastern flank. Menrov, who is the chairman of Russian Federation Council from 01 to 11, said that any Western move on the region was a red line, or a red button, by clicking on which the West will inevitably force Russia to take retaliatory measures. Anyway, so there's a little bit more there, but not much. We read almost all of it. For those that may have missed yesterday's headlines. But again, rumors of wars and rumors of wars, right? More rumors. Anyway. We also have from Yahoo actually sharing an independent article. Two planes collide in the second Japan airport crash in weeks. Two planes collided on a runway in Japan in the second airport crash in the country within weeks. A Korean Airlines plane came into contact with Cathay Pacific Airways aircraft and New Chitos Airport on Japan's northern island of Hokkaido on Tuesday, a Korean air official said. According to Hokkaido Airport, which operates New Chitos Airport, they received a report at around 5:30 p.m. local time. A Korean Air spokesperson said a Korean aircraft came into contact with a Cathay aircraft during a pushback at the New Chitos Airport by the third-party ground handler vehicle, which slipped due to heavy snow. There were no injuries, and the airline is cooperating with relevant authorities. While there is over 280 passengers and crew on board the Korean airplane, there was no passengers on the Cathay Pacific plane that arrived at the NHK reported. According to the fire department, there was no fire and no one has been reported as injured so far. More than 46 flights have been canceled today alone at the airport due to the snowy conditions in the region. A statement from the airport before the crash read, New Chitos Airport is experiencing flight delays and cancellations today due to the heavy snow. Please check with your airlines for details. Anyway, so there's a little bit more here, guys, but you can see the picture here. We've got that there was no injuries and nothing serious, no one in serious condition. So, and we know that there was a collision. So that is the main takeaway. So there we go, is that article. Let's see, guys. Okay, so we also have Trump wins Iowa. For those that may not have heard yet, it was a huge win I want to show you this raw alert thing though, because this here. Now, guys, at one point they were saying Trump had won all 99 counties of Iowa, but then it came back that he supposedly lost to Nikki Haley in one county.
You said it should have been 100.
It says 99.
I know. There's only they said he won.
I guess there's only 99 counties. It says he won 99 Iowa counties. No one else won. It said he won, that Trump won 99 Iowa counties. But they come back and said he's won 98 with Nikki Haley winning one by one vote.
I'd ask for a recount. Even if it is a caucus, just to prove the point.
And everybody's been saying and hollering that supposedly that Democrats were changing their political status so that they could vote for her, which, you know, I don't know.
It's illegal.
You know, is good or not, but you know, hey, it is what it is, right? Okay. So guys, have you heard this? This is kind of crazy. Now, Putin, if everybody remembers, this isn't the first time Putin has called Biden a illegal president. If anybody remembers, he has said this. I want to say either right before the Ukraine stepping into Ukraine, you know, with their guns ablazing, you know, the invasion, or right after. But this isn't the first time that Putin has said this, but this is the first time that I've heard him talk that it was mail fraud. So I think this is an interesting article, to say the very least. It talks about mail fraud and, you know, paying people $10 for a vote. Anyway, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and this is from War News 247, with the surprise statement, supported Trump declaring that there was a big, you know, fraud in the previous event in the USA through the postal vote. In the U.S., in the previous elections, there was a fraud through postal voting. They brought ballots for $10. They bought ballots for $10, filled them out, and threw them into mailboxes without any supervision by observers. And that was it, Putin said. Now, this is Putin talking, guys. This isn't nobody in the United States. This isn't Renee saying this. This is what's being reported. Putin said. This is a direct Russian interference in American elections, as Putin indirectly but clearly says that Biden is illegal president of the USA. Now, guys, he's mentioned this before. Like I said, if you guys remember, I would have to go back and search our Wixit, but there was an article a couple of years ago with him mentioning this, but he never elaborated. He just it was whenever he was going to meet with Xi Jinping. Right before then, they were getting ready to go on a meeting, and that's when he said it. Anyway, this intervention even came out at a time when several Democrat states forbid that Trump to run again against the president of the USA. The situation in the USA has just gotten worse, and it smells like gunpowder while waiting for the decision of the Constitutional Court on Trump's candidacy. What will happen if Trump is banned from coming down? How will the Democrats respond to Putin's shock statement, which undermines the inviolability, legitimacy, and process of the American elections in the minds of millions of Trump voters? So, guys, I mean, I don't even know what to think. You know, here we have a president in another country talking about our system here, how and things of that nature. Putin then declared that it was impossible to take away from Russia the military gains it has achieved so far in Ukraine. Russian president also noted that the state of Ukraine could suffer an irreparable blow if the war continues. Putin made his televised comments a day after Switzerland agreed to host a world summit at the request of Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin rejected the so-called peace formulas being discussed in the West and Ukraine and the prohibitive of demands they entail. Well, if they don't want to negotiate, then don't do it. Now it is obvious not only that Ukraine's counterattack has failed, but the initiative is fully in the hands of Russia armed forces. If this continues, the Ukrainian state may suffer an irreparable, very serious blow. In fact, Putin hinted that Ukrainian state may even disappear. Putin said, according to Reuters, that the talk of negotiations was an attempt to induce us to give up the gains we have realized in the last year and a half, but this is impossible. Everyone understands that this is impossible. Anyway, that is crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. I think this is just, crazy. And this is something that everybody probably should be talking about. Especially since he said it. I'm just saying, not that we should listen, but that we should, what constantly replays in my mind is actually honestly what Biden himself said, that he wouldn't really need our votes prior, but he would need us afterwards, right? Does anyone remember him saying that? I know I sure do. That's replayed, and I keep hearing that the entire time. I every time I look at this article, guys, it's just astounding. Anyway, let's continue. We also have 18 earthquakes in Oklahoma City metro within the past 24 hours. Agency investigate 18 earthquakes in Oklahoma City metropolitan area within the past 24 hours. How could this be? Multiple agencies are still investigating this. A state seismologist exclaims that a crack in the Earth's crust where you can get friction that leads to earthquakes has been active for years. Earthquakes can be unnerving as they are quite unpredictable, Dr. Jakes Walter said. Dr. Walter says that there has been nearly 500 earthquakes on this fault within the past decade, including 3 magnitude 4s events in 2015 and 2017. The active fault struck again Friday night and into Saturday morning. There's no concurrent wastewater disposal in recent times in the last several years nearby this particular fault sequence, so we don't really understand why this fault has woken up, so to speak. But we're continuing to look at it and continuing to examine the data. The Oklahoma Cooperation Commission tells us for Fox 25 that this is not likely not oil gas related and fracking is not happening in this area. Dr. Walter says he's continued to monitor the seismicity of the sequence or how frequent the earthquakes are happening in the area. There will be continued aftershocks into the weekend. He expects there's to be small earthquakes decreasing in frequency and magnitude in the next several days. Now, it's always possible to have aftershocks and that are as big or bigger than the main shock. So folks should be prepared. Anyway, kind of crazy, guys, to have so many in Oklahoma. And obviously, there's no reason except for I can think of a Bible verse that tells us earthquakes in diverse places. Period. Sums it up for me, right? I don't know. We also have health official warns thousands of people have possibly been exposed to the measles after 2 U.S. airports. Health officials in the nation's capital are warning of possible measles exposure Tuesday after a person with confirmed cases traveled through 2 of the busiest airports in the region while returning home from an international trip. DC Health says the potential exposure occurred in the international arrival area of the main terminal at Dulles International Airport between 4 and 8 on January 3rd, then at the Terminal A at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport the following day from 2:30 to 6:30. DC Health has been notified of a confirmed case of measles in a person who traveled through DC area airports when returning from international travel, the agency said in a statement. While the threat of transmission is low, DC Health is notifying district residents who were at these locations about their possible exposure. The Virginia Department of Health issued a similar warning days earlier. Hundreds of flights involving thousands of travelers arrive and depart at both airports daily. Measles is a highly contagious illness that can spread easily through the air when the affected person breathes, coughs, or sneezes. Measles symptoms usually appear in two stages. In the first stage, most people have a fever of a greater than 101, a runny nose, watery red eyes, and cough. These symptoms usually start 7 to 14 days after being exposed, the Virginia Department of Health said in a statement. The second stage starts 3 to 5 days after symptoms starts, when a rash begins to appear on the face and spread to the rest of the body. People with measles are contagious from 4 days before the rash appears through 4 days after the rash appeared. It added. Okay, guys, but that's not all. Okay, then we have this. Reports coming in that passengers in the state of Virginia might have been exposed to highly contagious measles. This is also DC airports. I guess that was the same airport. I'm so crazy. I just saw this and I thought it was a different airport. Ha ha. My moment, guys. You know I have them from time to time. But you know it is everywhere. They're trying to push this measles stuff. So beware, be safe. I think I don't know how many people could possibly get this. I believe most people are vaccinated for the measles, if I'm not mistaken. But it's crazy, isn't it? Are you leaving, Daryl? Signs, right? It is absolutely, Philip. You've hit the nail on the head. Really, Carol? Well, see, what good are these things if you're still going to get it? I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, let's continue. All right. So nearly 40% of the global employment could be disrupted by AI, IMF says. Almost 40% of the jobs around the world could be affected by a rise of AI, a trend that is likely to deepen inequality, according to the International Monetary Fund. In Sunday, a blog post, the IMF chief, Kristalina Georgieva, called of the governments to establish social safety nets and offer retaining programs to counter the impact of AI. In most scenarios, AI will likely worsen overall inequality, a troubled trend that policymakers must proactively address to prevent the technology from further stock social tensions, she wrote ahead of an annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, with the topic is set to be high on the agenda. The ski resort town of Davos was already bedecked with AI advertisements, and branding of the summit got underway Monday. As AI continues to be adapted by more workers and businesses, it is expected to both help and hurt the human workforce, Georgieva noted in her blog. Echoing previous warnings from experts, Georgieva said that the effects were expected to be felt more deeply in advanced economies and emerging markets, partly because white-collar workers are seen to be more at risk than manual laborers. In emerging markets and lower-income nations, 40 to 26% of the jobs are expected to be affected by AI respectively. Emerging markets refer to places such as India and Brazil with sustained economic growth, while low-income countries refer to developing economies with per capita income falling within a certain level, such as Burundi and Sierra Leone. Many of these countries don't have infrastructure or skilled workforces to harness the benefits of AI, raising the risk that over time and technology could worsen inequality, noted Georgieva. She warned that the use of AI could increase chances of social unrest, particularly if younger, less experienced workers seized on the technology as a way to help boost their output, while more senior workers struggle to keep up. Some tech firms have already directly pointed to AI as a reason that they are rethinking staffing levels. While workplace may shift, widespread adoption of AI could ultimately increase labor productivity and boost the global GDP by 7% annually over a 10-year period, according to March 2023 estimate by Goldman Sachs economists. Now, I don't know how in the world they think that you can replace people with artificial intelligence and that's going to technically boost the economy. It's not. If you're putting somebody out of work, it's not going to boost the economy. And if anybody thinks that that is a logical equation, you need to rethink it. I'm
Well,
just saying.
the only way it'll boost the economy is if that person still gets to pay for that AI.
Yeah.
They work for you.
Right.
That'd be the only way.
Okay, absolutely.
But not to take away from people.
Right. Okay. So then we also have a danger of gas shortages, guys. I have another article, but this here is from Insider Paper. Shell halts Red Sea shipments over attacks fears report from Insider Paper. Then we also have millions of Americans' supplies threatened by gas outage during Arctic storm. Yep. A massive storage facility in Washington state serving the natural gas network that provides electricity and heating fuel to millions of Americans from the Pacific Northwest south to New Mexico went down Saturday, HuffPost has learned. The Jackson Prairie Underground Natural Gas Storage Facility in Lewis County, roughly 2 hours south of Seattle, suffered a complete outage, triggering an emergency on the 1,500-mile Northwest pipeline that ships gas to power plants and heating networks across a region currently struck by Arctic weather. The storage facility provided enough gas to power upward of 6 million homes if it was all used to generate electricity. The gas network also supplies heating furnaces as cities like Seattle freezes in the coldest temperatures in the city in 14 years. An emergency alert sent out across the gas network Saturday afternoon, a copy of which was posted on the social media website X, formerly known as Twitter, by an industry worker. The notice warned that the pressure in the pipeline connecting Washington and Oregon was dropping at a rapid rate. The Northwest Pipelines operator requested all customers take immediate action to reduce demand for electricity and heat. Gusty winds had already caused scattered power outages across Oregon as the winter storm sprayed the region with snow. The utility and co-owners and operate the gas storage facilities, Puget Sound Energy, said the plant went offline at 2 p.m. and has steadily been coming back on since then. The firm did not provide an estimate of when the facility would be fully restored. Puget Sound Energy is asking customers to conserve natural gas and electricity use through the evening hours. A spokesperson of the company told HuffPost by email, due to the extreme cold temperatures facing our area, regional utilities are experiencing higher energy use than forecasted, and we need to reduce strain on the grid. The company didn't say what caused the shutdown, but the Watchdog Union of Concerned Scientists released a report last month showing the uptick in gas infrastructure breaking down during cold weather when the fuel is most needed. The latest episode comes just 2 years after the winter storm left hundreds of Texans dead as gas pipelines froze and power plants failed, underscoring how the United States' aging energy distribution networks are having under increased demand and extreme weather from climate change. Oh, yeah. That's it, guys, that climate change. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to just go over here. This is the next little thing. Our water is frozen. Use 30 gallons of propane in 36 hours. We need prayers in Texas. So we will be praying. This was sent out yesterday at 5:47 a.m. We will be praying for Texas tonight, guys. We will be praying for Texas. We're going to be praying for everybody within the United States that is in all of this, and these people that could be in the cold all over, without power completely. It's just crazy. Anyway. I got to show you this crazy looking picture. Hopefully. Okay, so look at here. This is historic Michigan Lighthouse, and oh, you don't want that. The lighthouses are encased in ice after 45-degree Arctic freeze left 7 dead as it swept across the country, leaving over 5,000 flights canceled or delayed, and it's only going to get worse. So And this was today's article, so you all know that it's today's. An Arctic freeze encased Michigan's historic lighthouse in an ice after extreme temperatures left 7 dead and over 5,000 flights canceled and delayed. Mesmerizing images of the lighthouse on the shores of Lake Michigan in Barron County emerged on Tuesday as brutal weather brought record low temperatures across much of the nation, with snow and freezing rain present from the south to the north. East with over 140 million under a wind chill advisory or warning. New York City had its first significant snowfall in 2 years on Monday night, and it's only going to get colder on Tuesday, posing a threat to airlines and power grids, according to the forecast. New York's LaGuardia Airport saw the most disruptions on Tuesday, with 14% of its flight canceled and 57% delayed. Houston Bush's International and D.C. Reagan National Airport have also seen a significant disruption. Wind chills could push the temperature below minus 30 in the south and into the Mississippi Valley, with nearly 80% of the country experiencing below freezing temperatures over the next week. Look at that. Is that crazy or what? Let me see if I can. I'll share a picture that in our yard that Rachel took. She's like, "Oh, I think this is so pretty, Nana." Okay. All right. Hold on, let me. There it is. The icicles hanging off of a bush in our yard. And Rachel says, "Isn't that so pretty?" I think it's pretty, the icicles, but I think it's cold, right? Anyway, just wanted to share that, guys. Look at the snowman. More than 120,000 U.S. homes and businesses were without power early Tuesday, most of them in Oregon, Texas, and Louisiana after a widespread outage that started Saturday. Up to 4 inches were expected to descend on the Big Apple by Tuesday morning. There was 1.4 inches on the ground in Central Park by 6 a.m., ending the snow drought in the city. The streak has ended, said the Weather Service, about more than 700 days without significant snowfall in the city. Lakeshore restaurant in Hamburg, New York City by Lake Erie was pictured under a so-called lake effect that made it look like an ice castle, with the owner saying felt like it walked into the movie Frozen. Snow is coming. Mayor Adams' office previously tweeted on Monday afternoon, "It's been over 700 days, but 1 to 4 snowfall between tonight and 6 p.m. tomorrow, 6 p.m. Monday said the coldest temperatures ever for Iowa's presidential nominating contest, holding up travelers and testing the mettle of the NFL fans in Buffalo for a playoff game when they delayed a day by wind whipped snow." And that does look crazy. Yep. Portland General Electric warned that the threat of freezing rain Tuesday could delay restoration efforts. Transportation officials urged residents to avoid travel as roads were expected to be hazardly slick with ice that could weigh down trees and power lines, causing them to fall. Classes were canceled Tuesday for students in major cities, including Chicago, the nation's fourth largest public school district, Denver, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Portland. The storm was blamed for at least 4 weekend deaths from Portland, including 2 people who died of suspected hypothermia. Another man was killed after a tree fell on his house, and a woman died in a fire that spread from an open flame stove after a tree fell onto an RV. Oh, wow, guys. It's just crazy, isn't it? I say it's crazy only because it's so widespread. I mean, Texas usually doesn't have snow. Now, not to say that I haven't been in Texas when there, or in Louisiana, actually, when there wasn't snow, but it's very, few and far between these types of temperatures and conditions for sure. 3 deaths of homeless people were under investigation in the Milwaukee area. They likely died from hypothermia, officials said. A 64-year-old man was found dead under a bridge Friday. 69-year-old man was pronounced dead after being found in a vehicle on Saturday. And on Monday, a 40-year-old man was found dead near railroad tracks, the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner officer said. In Utah, where almost 4 feet of snow fell in the mountains over a 24-hour period, a snowmobiler was struck and killed Sunday night by a semi-trailer about 70 miles southeast of Salt Lake City, according to the Utah Highway Patrol. The victim was attempting to cross US 40. In Wyoming, a backcountry skier was killed after triggering a 50-foot wide avalanche. The victim was swept into a gully and through brush and trees, then remained buried for about 15 minutes before being found by a companion in the mountains south of the Alpine, Wyoming, on Sunday afternoon, according to the Bridger Teton Avalanche Center. Oh my goodness sakes, guys, this is just horrible. All these deaths. It has marked the third U.S. avalanche fatality in recent days, following a Wednesday accident at a California ski resort that killed 1 person and injured 3 others, and another that was killed in a person on Thursday in Idaho backcountry near the Montana border. Swirling snow and avalanche dangers prompted numerous road closures across the Rocky Mountains east in the resort community of Val, Colorado. Officials closed a 20-mile stretch of Interstate 70, the primary east-west highway through the state. Temperatures are expected to moderate midweek, but a new surge of colder air is forecast to drop south over the northern plains in Midwest, reaching the deep south by the end of the week. Oh, mercy, guys. It doesn't look like it's gonna let up anytime soon. We might get a little bit of a reprieve for just a day or two, but it looks like by the next weekend it's gonna go back to being cold. Alrighty. So now we're into Twitter corner or X corner, whatever you want to call it. Chinese scientists experimenting with a mutant coronavirus strain that is 100% lethal in humanized mice. I have this article, guys, right below this tweet. So we're going to just go to the article. Chinese scientists create a mutant coronavirus strain that attacks the brain and has a 100% kill rate in mice. As they admit, there's a risk it spills over to humans. Chinese scientists have been experimenting with a mutant coronavirus strain that is 100% lethal in mice, despite concerns such research could spark another pandemic. Scientists in Beijing who are linked to the Chinese military cloned a COVID-like virus found in pangolins known as GXP2V and used it to infect mice. The mice had been humanized, meaning they were engineered to express protein found in people, with the goal being to assess how the virus might react in humans. Every rodent that was infected with the pathogen died within 8 days, which researchers described as surprisingly quick. The team were also surprised to find high levels of viral load in the mice brains and eyes, suggested the virus, despite being related to the CD, multiples and spreads through the body in a unique way. Writing a scientific paper that has not yet been published, they warned that finding the underscores of a spillover risk of the GXP2V into humans. The professor, an infectious disease expert based at University College of London, wrote on Twitter, "It is terrible study, scientifically totally pointless. I can see nothing of a vague interest that could be learned from infecting a weird breed of humanized mice with random virus. Conversely, I could see how such stuff might go wrong." Professor Albright, a chemist at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey, told Daily Mail he wholeheartedly agreed with Professor Baulick's assessment. He added the preprint does not specify the biosafety level and biosafety precautions used for the research. The absence of this information raises the concerning possibility that part of all of this research, like the research in Wuhan that likely caused the 19 pandemic, recklessly was performed without minimal biosafety containment and practices viruses essential for research with potential pandemic pathogens. According to the study carried out by the Beijing University of Chemical Technology, the virus was discovered in 17 prior to the CD outbreak. It was discovered in Malaysia in Pangolia's scaly mammals that are known harbors of the coronavirus and were heavily speculated to be intermediate hosts that pass the CD from bats to humans. The researchers cloned the virus and stored multiple coats in Beijing lab where it continued to evolve. It is unclear when this newly surfaced study was conducted, but the researchers said it was possible the virus had undergone a virulent enhancing mutation in storage, which made it more deadly. Anyway, guys, as you can see, there's a little bit more here. And this is a very lengthy article, guys. And I encourage you to finish reading it. But the main thing is that, one, they're creating this crap. They are creating this crap. This isn't something natural that has mutated or anything else. This is bioengineered. And this needs to stop. In my opinion, it needs to stop. I can't even begin to see. And that is what Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'll tell you, I agree with this woman. This is a bioweapon. This is unethical and dangerous to the entire world. We already went through one lab-created virus from China and consequent mandated sleevers. This must stop and cannot be allowed to happen anymore. And this is on her X, and you could go check it out. But there's a link to it if you want to just check what she said. Again, share it with somebody. But I agree. It's a bio. It needs to stop. All of this needs to stop. I cannot see for the life of me why we're going to create something that could kill you. You know, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Anyway, we're going to take a break again. I'm back over here checking everything out here, seeing how everybody is. We should stop playing with these things. I hear you. They need to stop. They need to stop. They need to stop while they're ahead. Absolutely. And this is why they need to stop right there. Right there. Philip hit the nail on the head there. It needs to stop. They need to be charged with something. I mean, this is ridiculous. Anyway, they'll continue. They'll get away with it. It's China, right? And that's what everybody says. It's China. They'll get away with it. Okay, so this is from the National Independent. Just in, we received an announcement from Pristina Kosovo. They are ready to consider the abolition of payment transactions with Central Serbia, i.e. to ban the use of dinar Serbian currency and to raid the postal savings bank of Serbian origin and our post offices in southern Serbian province. President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić. So then we have more Kosovo. The situation concerning Serbia and Kosovo remains calm. However, it is becoming more complicated once again. U.S. and British troops in Kosovo are continuing regular patrols on the administrative line between Serbia and Kosovo. The U.S. State Department has approved the sale of Javelin anti-tank missiles and related equipment to Kosovo at an estimated value of $75 million. In response, the Serbian has promptly allocated an additional $168 million for immediate expenditures on military equipment. Furthermore, Serbia has decided to reintroduce mandatory military service. Kosovo police patrols will be equipped with assault rifles supplied from Croatia. The president of Serbia has announced that Kosovo authorities are preparing to abolish payment transactions with Central Serbia. Serbian president has expressed concerns by stating that Kosovo authorities may forcibly enter Serbian bank and Serbian post offices in Kosovo. Croatia is deploying additional forces to Kosovo as part of the KFOR mission. Well, another little thing for distraction, I guess. All right. So then we have what we're going to call a SmackDown. is what he's calling it anyway. 4 judges on the D.C. Appellate Court delivered a scorching smackdown of special counsel Jack Smith. Jack Smith's smackdown by the appellate judges for violating Donald Trump's executive privilege. The special counsel's approach obscured and bypassed any assertion of executive privilege and dodged the careful balance Congress struck in the Presidential Records Act. The politics brief, Jack Smith smacked down by appellate judges for violating Donald Trump's executive privilege. Special counsel Jack Smith has been excoriated by a panel of 4 appellate court judges for his unprecedented search of former president's private communications in the case of his violation of executive privilege by searching his Twitter files. Holy, you know what? 4 judges on the D.C. appellate court just delivered a scorching smackdown of the special counsel. Okay, so and the first article I had read, guys, that actually said that Trump got a thing saying that Jack Smith was going to get it. So I guess there was some kind of appeal quickly, and that's what happened. But just for those that want to read the entire article, it is down here in the For Your Eyes section. So you can read the article. I just felt like that was enough on it, right? Okay, so then we have a standoff on the border in Texas. This here is from Charlie Cook. He's sharing a Fox News brief. The feds say that Texas has until tomorrow to restore access to Shelby Park and Eagle Pass, using the drowning deaths of 3 illegals as an excuse. What about 100,000 dead Americans per year to fentanyl? Hold the line, Texas. Anyway, we have what we're going to call is looks like a showdown. We'll see how Governor Abbott in Texas responds. This is getting interesting anyway. So then we have the For Your Eyes section, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on all these for you to see. This one's about South Africa's Malemi. We will arm Hamas when we take power. Breitbart, also, Iran's terrorist IRGC vows more bombings after killing Kurdish baby in Iraq. And then China on Iowa, the world should prepare for the return of Trump. Breitbart. Woo-wee. And then we have this here. This here is a Illinois citizen group filing a formal complaint with the state board. You know what? So I tell you, it's got a good little video. Check it out. Then this here is pretty interesting. This is about, do you believe that there's been trials in Gitmo? Anyway, I don't know if this is PSYOP, what the heck is going on, but the teacher says some crazy stuff. Anyway, check it out. Then there is this horrible story about Child Protective Services, and I encourage you to go and listen to it. It's 5 minutes long. And there's that appellate thing. And then we have Alex Jones on AG on the Dems, and I'm not going to click on it, but you guys can check it all out. Check it out. Check it out. Anyway, guys, that is what I have for you today. It took us an hour and 20 minutes just to get through all that. I told you it was a lengthy day for headlines. And I hate doing these long streams because it's like there's just so much there and you don't want to miss anything, right? You got to get everything out. Anyway, it is dinner time here in this household. We will have Bible a little bit later, probably. Got Dark City. I hear you, brother. It is indeed. It is indeed. Anyway, I hope everyone stays warm. We will be praying for this weather and for our family, and everyone. So I hope you guys will join me. We'll be praying for Scan's mom and again for Texas and just for all this mess. Anyway, God is good. Hope to see you guys later. Hi, Miss Helen. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody. I love you all so very much. You all have a wonderful day. Bye.